Hey, what's up, Internet? I'm Deanna Jean Pierce, and this is my autism account, Autistic Integrity. Happy Autism Awareness Month. April is Autism Awareness Month, and my personal goal is to post one video per day for the whole month of April to talk about autism. It's a really huge topic, and I'm really passionate about it. God had me working with children with autism in elementary schools years back. It's how I discovered, it's a huge part of how I discovered my own autism, so many people are waking up to being autistic, and I don't think we can possibly talk enough about it. It's so important to the planet to understand autism. And so my goal is to spread information and share my passion, because there's so many facets of autism that if you don't really, if you're not in working directly in an industry that involves autism, or you're not doing research, you might just not really be aware of these things. And so, yeah, I wanted to do for the Church of Union the whole month of April dedicated to autism awareness in the sermons. So hopefully that partnership can still happen. But today, for the first day of April, I want to talk about body doubling. This is the first thing that kind of came up for me to share about, is body doubling. Now, if you Google body doubling, it'll kind of tell you what it is. It's essentially where, and I learned about this through being a special education assistant in elementary schools, where it was literally my job to supervise one children or a group of children who had autism, ADHD, or other social and emotional learning differences. And I saw firsthand how when I would give them just a little extra support, they would succeed really quickly. And that's all they really needed, was some extra presence and support. Body doubling is something that's very helpful for people with autism and ADHD for many reasons. And I won't get into all of the reasons. A quick Google search can kind of help you with that. But I mainly actually want to talk about my own personal experience with body doubling. So I've seen body doubling play out in my life a lot. I pretty much have never worked a job, for instance, that didn't have a friend of mine there, like a best friend of mine or someone I was dating. And this is kind of one of the reasons for that is body doubling and compassion. And also, it's also kind of how we're designed. We're designed to work with our twin flame and soul family. And so in the world, you'll see people at work trying to make kind of a family at work. And you'll see people kind of dating people they found at work, because what it's pointing to ultimately is you're meant to be working with your twin flame and soul family. But body doubling is also a part of that, a part of the reason for that. So body doubling it's kind of like co-regulation. It can help with people who have a hard time with transitions, a hard time focusing. It's also a good trauma coping mechanism. So it helps with external accountability. There's a mirroring mechanism, reduced isolation, more structure, reduced anxiety. These are just a few things. But in my personal experience, for example, me and Dan Thalen have worked 9 jobs together in the past 6 years. 9 different jobs in all different industries. God kept guiding us to work together. And even when we would try to work separately, God would kind of bring us back into the same job, the same location. And a big part of that is compassion, but also body doubling. It's easier to do something when you see someone else doing it, or when someone else is doing it at the same time. I have always I've always seen this in my life play out. Some ways that it kind of plays out for me nowadays is like in my yoga routine. I love doing yoga every morning and every evening, but I will oftentimes skip it if Dan doesn't do it too. And he will oftentimes skip doing yoga if I'm not doing it. And so if we do it together, it's easier, it's more fun. Another way body doubling or co-regulation has shown up in my life is with sleeping. I have a hard time sleeping at night for many reasons. And just for an example, last night I was up at like 2 or 3 in the morning. I was sitting in my bed, watching music videos, eating a scone in the middle of the night. And Dan woke up and came into the kitchen, and I tried to hide. And he just looked over me. He's like, and then he just went in his bedroom. We currently have 2 separate bedrooms. He just bought a bed, a second bed, for many reasons. One of the things is that he snores really loudly, and so that's caused trouble with me sleeping over the years. And also we've just been needing more space in our life, so he recently bought a new bed and we're sleeping in 2 separate bedrooms. However, oftentimes we will prefer to sleep in the same bed together anyway, just because of co-regulation and body doubling. So last night, for instance, Dan noticed I was watching music videos, hyper. It was 2 or 3 in the morning. I was eating a scone, and he just brought his pillow in and put it next to me, and he's like, "Do you need me to sleep next to you?" And as soon as he laid down next to me, I fell asleep within 5 to 10 minutes. Versus if he hadn't done that, I might have been up till 5 or 6 in the morning. The show Grey's Anatomy also does a really good job at showing many examples of co-regulation and body doubling. If you know that show. They show it between coworkers, and they also show it with patients as well. And so, body doubling is also something that I noticed what I was doing a lot when I was a CNA. This was years back. And I was working in assisted living facilities with elderly people. A lot of what I was doing as a CNA was body doubling and co-regulation. It was just a lot of just that little extra support to help someone who may have been stuck all day if they didn't just have that little bit of boost behind them. And so I've seen this in other people. I've seen it in elderly. I've seen it in children I've worked with. I've seen it in myself, and I've seen it with Dan Thalen. I've also seen it with plenty of other people in my life where it's just better together. Now, one thing I want to talk about in regard to body doubling is the topic of codependency, because I think a lot of people might confuse what I'm saying right now as codependency, but it's not. It's absolutely not. Of course, this is up to all individuals, if they feel weird about stuff like this, it's up to individuals, but I really want to share what God has shown me, and what God has shown me in regard to working jobs, in regard to elderly people, in regard to young children, in regard to myself. We all benefit from body doubling and co-regulation. I know that there's also like an uprise in consciousness about boundaries and codependency. But I just think that we need to balance that out with an understanding of autism, and unity and togetherness. Things are more compassionate when there's more than one person. And so, yeah, I hope this helps. Now, if you don't have someone to body double with, what you could do is, I know I used to do this when I was young. I used to watch vloggers who kind of made daily vlogs and kind of showed their life and routines, and I would play their videos, and it would help me co-regulate in my own life. And so you can use influencers and vloggers, people who post social media content, as a way to body double. You don't have to necessarily have someone in person, although I think in person is preferable. But yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like, why did God have Dan and I work 9 different jobs together? And even when we would try to work separately, God would push us back together. We're currently working 2 separate jobs, but I'm just saying 9 jobs worked together. Part of the reason of this is body doubling as well as compassion. Relationships and having other people around is extremely, extremely important and supportive. So, yeah, I also, you can also, I don't know, like when you're in college, you can go, you can go in like the library and be around other people studying, and everyone else's focus kind of helps you focus too. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about body doubling for now. This also, can also be with animals. I can't tell you the number of stories I've read online or like people I've heard where like they were really depressed and like, what's the word? What is the word for, not moving much? There's a word for it. Stationary? Kind of the lifestyle where you don't walk much, you don't move much. And then someone buys a dog, someone adopts a dog, and the dog wants to constantly run around and walk, and so that's also body doubling and co-regulation with animals. Like someone who maybe lives alone would benefit from getting like a cat to like kind of, because since you have to get up and you have to feed the cat and there's like a routine involved with taking care of the cat, it helps you also then take care of yourself. So body doubling co-regulation is can also be a thing with pets too. And so that's all I have to say about body doubling for now, but I hope you found this helpful, and happy Autism Awareness Month.